With this video, I'd like to help you to stop seeking, stop waiting for your desire. And I want to remind you that you don't have to wait for anything, because the one who waits forever. The one who seeks forever, right? But as soon as you start to appropriate, to occupy, to identify yourself as the one you want to be, you will no longer wait for anything in your life, because you have found the key to the kingdom of heaven, which is in yourself, where you can give yourself any state right now without any waiting. So how do we do that, and what is important? Let's just dive right in. So like Neville said, denying the evidence of the senses and appropriating the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the way to the realization of your desire. Right? Denying the evidence of the senses. It doesn't mean that you get delusional and no longer honor the experience in the outside world, right? You will, as long as you're having the human experience, you will forever have an experience in this outside world. But when it comes to conscious manifesting, it is still relevant for you to understand that you can deny, if your desire right now is not mirrored back currently, you can acknowledge it, but you can at the same time have the bold conviction that you can deny that. You can understand that it's not final. So who cares if right now the world shows you X, if you know that it is not final and that it eventually has to conform to the new state that you make alive, then you can deny what the world shows you right now. Still with a, let's just say, healthy relationship to the 3D world, where you don't battle against it, where you don't fight against it, where you don't run away from it, where you simply acknowledge it, but you deny that this is the truth for you, right? You deny that this is the final truth. You deny that what your senses tell you is the only thing that there is, and subjectively in your inner world, right, you appropriate the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That is how you manifest, right? Mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings is the highest achievement. Meaning, summarized in that statement here, I would, although Neville is saying thoughts and feelings, but we can simply say mastery of your internal state, the sum total of your convictions, beliefs, assumptions, and the paradigm that you have of yourself and the world. To attempt to change circumstances before I change my imaginal activity, meaning before I change what is going on in my inner reality, is to struggle against the very nature of my own being. What is the nature of our own being? The nature of our own being is to express in our world that which we believe to be true, or to express in our world that which, based on the state that we have alive within ourselves. So if you don't change what's within yourself and you just try to change the world, not much is going to happen. The results are not long lasting, because you cannot change much out there. You can actually change nothing out there, because that is the mirror, right? You change within, then the mirror changes accordingly. You need to not ask for anyone's permission or help, but moving into the new state in your imagination, simply remain there until you feel its reality. And that's the key point, right? You don't need to seek people to help you. You don't need to seek love. You don't need to seek financial abundance. You don't need to chase for something outside. It's more so that you, in your inner world, you remain in that state until you feel that this is who you are, until you feel that this is real for you, and then your world will confirm it. And here's my summary of it, and I want you to listen closely right now, because if you understand this, then you will never wait for anything, you will never seek for anything, and you will open up, like I said in the beginning, to the kingdom of heaven, to your inner abundance, right? To your inner wholeness, and that's freedom. So you can only seek if you believe there is something outside of you, right? If you believe that the love is out there, the money is out there, the financial abundance is out there, the health is out there, right? It's in the therapy, it's in the medicine, right? And again, I'm not speaking against those things. They can be definitely part of someone's bridge, but I simply say that if you don't align within and you stay here in an old state within, and from that old state you try to do all of these external things, not much is happening. But if you go within to a new state, you will be led to do whatever is necessary to express it. But as long as you seek and you wait and you hope to get something from out there, that's when it becomes very, very tricky. So seeking implies that you are not it, that you don't have it right now, and therefore you won't get a manifestation, because the life will only give you what you already have. It can only give you what is already alive within you, what is already done for you within. So if you seek and you want it and you chase it and you look for it and you try to make it happen and you work out the ways, what does that imply to the mirror of life? That it's not done yet, that you are not it yet. So it won't give you the manifestation. It will give you more trying, more working towards it, more trying to get it. And every state of consciousness is within you, right? All general states and all specific states, right? Love, money, financial abundance, health, specific things, right? That this specific person calls you, that this specific friend reaches out, that you meet this specific person, that you are with this specific person, right? These are all states. These are all assumptions. These are all things you can believe to be true. You can create for anything the belief that is true for you. And no matter if that's general, right? That you are a financial abundant person, or that you and your specific business that you have, that this is successful, or that you are partnered with this person, right? Or that you are in general a happy partner. These are all states. But you can feel them regardless of what the world shows you right now. That's simply the goal, right? You could right now feel as though you would feel, would that person be next to you, although this person isn't physically next to you. That's the goal, because then you're no longer attached to something on the outside first. And also, do you recognize more and more that it is all within you, within your awareness, within your consciousness, within your inner world, within your own being? You find all of these states. You can access all of these moods, right? That is true freedom. Then we're like, I never need to wait for something. If I want something, I can close my eyes, or I can conjure any method that helps me to move within that new state. And that's real freedom, because you see, you are this infinite storehouse. You carry all of these states in yourself, right? You are already who you want to be. It needs your acceptance to manifest it, right? You are already who you want to be. You don't have to create that version of you. That version of yourself that has this car, that has this new flat, that has this more money, that has better health, that has the relationship, that version of you, that state of consciousness is available, but you're not aligned to it. It's like if you think in terms of levels, then it's like you're at this level. This is the level of consciousness that you need to be at, but you're operating from this level, trying to how can I get there? How can I get there? But from this level, you don't have the means to get there. So you have to align within to that level. How do you do that? Well, by, for example, imagining something that anchors you in that state. If you would be already here, what would imply it to you? And that's like an anchor we place. And by imagining this scene, we anchor us more and more and more into that state. That's just one way. And if you assume the end state now, you will lose interest in seeking externally. It's very interesting. I noticed this many times, right? When I gave myself within the wish fulfilled, I no longer needed it. I no longer wanted it. I no longer cared so much when and even if it's going to happen. Although I have to say that usually I still actually want to experience it in the flesh as well. But it's just coming from a way more, let's just say, lighter perspective, right? It's coming from abundance instead of lack. It's coming from knowing that I already have it instead of trying to make it happen. So again, if you assume the end state right now, if you place yourself in the version of you that has already accomplished the goal, that already is who you want to be, and you make that natural, then in that moment you can no longer seek, because in that moment you are it. And what you are, you cannot seek. You cannot seek for what you are. You cannot long for something that you are. Right? Like Neville said, the end of longing should be being. So when you start to be it, you will no longer long for it. So the inner assumption, right, the inner state will be confirmed, reflected back to you. That is what is always happening, right? Manifestation is simply the making something tangible that's untangible. We shift our awareness, we tune into something that's right now not manifested, right? We place ourselves within this new reality. It's not manifested yet, the world around us doesn't see it, but because we have this loyalty and this faith to it, this new state is then expressed and mirrored back in our world. So do not fight against your own created prison walls. Before doing comes being. What do I mean by that? Well, fighting against your own created prison walls is simply that you're in the problem solving mode all the time, that you're trying to fight against what is. You're dissatisfied, there's a problem, and you even call it a problem. You said, this is a problem, and now I need to fight against it, and I need to solve it. Instead of you acknowledging, yes, that's a problem, yes, that's an undesired circumstance, but then you start to be on the state of consciousness, then you start to be the version of yourself, then you start to be in the reality where the problem no longer is alive, and therefore the solutions will be presented to you. Therefore, you will get the right impulses to solve the problem in the right way. But that then comes from the new state. It no longer comes from the state where the problem is. And the state where the problem is and where the undesired circumstances are, that state is always, as long as you stay in that state, you will always see that. But then there are all of these other states. And once you start to move into that state will provide you with new opportunities, new decisions, new life circumstances. Before doing comes being. Before doing comes being. If you do something, do, but your beingness level, your identity level is still the old, not much changes. If you change the identity level, the being level first, you will then do things from this new state, which will basically lead you towards its expression. So those who go seeking for love only make manifest their own lovelessness, and the loveless never find love. Only the loving find love, and they never have to seek for it. Right? If you seek for it, like I said earlier, it implies you are not it yet, so you will just manifest more of that, and you never find it. Right? You can't find for that which you seek. Right? You will only find that on the outside world that you already gave yourself within, that you already are. And when you are, you don't seek it, and then the mirror of life can, in an abundance, reflect that back to you. To seek on the outside for that which you do not feel you are is to seek in vain. For we never find that which we want. Exactly what I just said, right? These are quotes from Neville. We find only that which we are. So we first need to align ourselves into having it, into being it. In short, you express and have only that which you're conscious of being or possessing. How can we become conscious of having and being something new? By imagining it, right? By having a scene that implies we are now this version of ourselves. We are now having it. And utilizing any other method. But that's still a core way, is having a little scene that implies you are now this new version. I remember when, giving thanks, isn't it wonderful? And some other ways. Scripting, it's all valid. It all is there to help you become conscious of now being that version, to now within making this shift. Right? So I do assume that this helped you right now to understand that you should not continue to seek. If you find yourself seeking, I want this, ask yourself, when would I no longer want this? The moment I would already be it. So let me be it right now. Let me focus on now seeing the world from that perspective, through that lens, from that state, right? Thinking from it. Let me now start to imagine something that implies I am this, to make it more and more natural. And then I will no longer seek for it. Then I am it within, and then my world can reflect it back. And this is my take on, stop seeking, start being. If you need more resources, check out the free masterclass in my program in the video description, pinned comments. And that's it. Speak to you soon. Bye, guys.